Welcome back to the Iron County Fair in the Ag Barn. We are interviewing Jenna Wood, who is a local photographer and a homesteader, and she's been one of my friends for the last 6 or 7 years, and I have learned so much about just bringing ag into my home and making sure that I'm utilizing food to the best of my ability. So I'm really excited to interview Jenna on what we can be doing differently in our home to make sure that we're getting full nutritional value out of the food that we're growing and or purchasing out of the grocery store. How are you doing, Jenna?
Oh, wonderful, and I'm so happy. McKennan's my good friend, so this is a pleasure to be here speaking with you, especially about agriculture and homesteading. What could be better?
Right, exactly. So with all of the different things, kind of give us a little bit of your background in homesteading and in food, healthy nutritional options for food.
Sure. So my family grew up in the health world and cultivating the health world in the Midwest, and we taught families how to eat, from the ground, eat organic and eat the food they grow, and if they don't grow it themselves, just to find a source that is dependable. And we're talking large scale or small scale as well. As long as you're getting the fresh foods that your body is needing in front of your family, that's an accomplishing day. And so from all different levels, all different walks of life, we taught people how they can begin and where they can start. And so our family traveled across the country teaching classes on health and how they could just help heal their body and feel great through food, basically just through food. And for myself and my own family, right now being a mom and having a husband, we have 5 children. Every day we're putting, I am putting 3 meals on the table, and my husband, but we're putting 3 meals on the table. And it's exciting and becomes alive when you're actually trying to grow the food yourself. Is that where you'd like me to expand on? What we're feeding our family?
Absolutely, because what's overwhelming and underwhelming all at the same time right now is as we've become so abundant in what available food options are out there, our standard 2,000 calorie day diet has really turned into an average of 3,500 calories, and I think people are running out of options or have forgotten the options that they can go and purchase in the grocery store. For me, I have anxiety going through drive-through because most of what I eat or standard eat, is not found in a fast food restaurant. And the amount of time it takes to go and sit and wait and order and pay and get home, I can have a home-cooked meal.
Exactly.
So let's go back to where we can kind of start changing that mentality around food is really in the grocery store. So what's one of the most underutilized things that we pass up every day that is actually nutritional?
I'd probably say frozen fruit, because you can take frozen fruit and turn it into jams and jellies. You can turn it into fruit leather for your kids. You can turn it into smoothies for breakfast. You can turn it into a Gillette. You can make crepes with frozen fruit. You can make, the list goes on and on and on. There's so many things you can do with frozen fruit. So stocking up frozen fruit in my freezers, that's actually the biggest thing that I have going.
Well, and what I've done too is I'll buy a bag of grapes, of fresh grapes. And then the kids haven't eaten it in the 3 or 4 days that it sat in the fridge, and I'll throw it in the freezer. Exactly. You're allowed to do that.
Yes, you're allowed to use your appliances how you want to use them, not what you see or what you think is right.
Right. Well, and because a lot of teenagers and a lot of young 20-year-olds, they don't even know how to cook chicken.
Right.
They're so intimidated by the grocery store.
Right.
Or growing their own food that they kind of freeze in fear. So where can we start getting people reintegrated into home cooking?
That's a really, it's a large question, but I think everyone will come across that question as they find themselves, meandering towards their kitchen more and staying in their kitchen longer. What can they do to transform their self and their family into eating holistic food and just eating food? Let's just say food.
Right, food, not random things that are put together.
Right. I think when people go grocery shopping, it is intimidating because there's so many boxes. They get caught up in reading labels. For myself, I'm reading nutritional labels, I'm reading ingredient labels, and I get a headache from grocery shopping. So I only try to go once a month, if that, and I pick up the things that I can't grow or that I don't already have in bulk. So when people go grocery shopping, they should just focus on their produce first and build their meals off of fresh fruits.
Fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, and if you can't find something that's fresh that you need, then you can go to the frozen section and try to find, your organic frozen green beans that you need.
Right. So with all of that, what's one of your favorite meals to just kind of pull together?
Definitely soups and a good drop biscuit for the family. Soups are really just easy to make once you get the hang of them. I'm still, learning and practicing different recipes all the time, in every category from sourdough to soups to everything. But soups are just really fun. And keeping yourself organized is really inspirational. And quite frankly, to keep on top of things in the kitchen, people need to be organized and not be intimidated to be getting organized. So, like when I throw together a soup, I already have like my frozen my frozen vegetables that I need in the freezer, or fresh vegetables, and just bam, bam, bam. Within a few minutes, the pot's already going, and you can just focus on spending more time with your family, like reading your kids a book or doing, your activities with
doing
them.
Different mom things.
Exactly.
I feel like the mom card and the book of mom, it forgets a lot of things, especially when it comes to cooking, because there's not one recipe book that contains all of it.
Right.
Everybody has their different spin. Everybody has their different ideas of how or their family likes these flavors, or my family likes those flavors. It's the experimental process of what you should be, trying to utilize. If you don't like hot and spicy, but somebody else does, that's great. But figure out what you do like.
Yes. And when you find out what you like, grow what you like. Keep it in your backyard. You don't have to go to the grocery store.
So, what are the easiest things to grow? Great lead in to what could we grow that we're not growing?
Exactly. One thing that I like to grow for my family is actually goji berries. So goji berries are superfood, and we grow them because they grow in the desert. So we get to grow them here in abundance. They're actually fruiting right now. We take them, we put them in the freezer, we put them in our smoothies. So that's something fun that we get to grow. Not everyone's going to start with growing goji berries, but of course, start with your fresh tomato, because you can do. The amount of recipes are endless. What you can do with a fresh tomato, it's like just having people start eating fresh food from their own garden will get their taste buds going and their brain thinking like what they could do to use up these produce items.
Well, and the different produces, especially I feel like lettuce is a big hit or miss. People are either really eating lettuce or not eating a lot of lettuce. And lettuce is one of those things that I've literally, granted, I've kind of tilled up the flower bed within my very city-bound home. I've literally drawn a line in the dirt with my finger, took the seed packet of lettuce, dropped it in there, and covered it up.
Perfect.
Water, a little bit of sun, and I have these plants that I can now go take just house scissors and cut the leaves off and have a homegrown salad right there.
And it's right out your window. Right out your door. It's not intimidating like you feel like when you go to the grocery store. Growing your own food, once you get the hang of it, it's just simple.
Right, and there's so many different varieties of, even just a squash. Well, there's 14 different varieties. Which one am I going to like? Well, try one. If you like it, maybe collect the seed that you've just, taken out of the plant and see if it'll grow. And I really am passionate about watching things grow too, because it's like watching children or watching families grow, right? You get a little heat and water and pressure, and it grows into something you would have never otherwise been able to.
And your family grows with it.
It does. So of the different things, one of my favorite go-to recipes is grilled chicken. It's easy to thaw chicken, it's easy to throw it on the barbecue grill and bring it back. But I love doing sweet corn with it, or green beans, and different things. One thing that I've been hesitant to try the recipe out of our favorite book, but my favorite book now. But it's the baked beans. How many different varieties of baked beans do you think there are?
Well, there's lots.
Thousands, right?
Yeah, thousands.
But the core of it is really, finding the beans that you do like and just starting there. And with any recipe, nobody has ever gotten it right the first time. Right? And it's the experimentation. So with each experiment or with each different variety that you've done, where have you found that your family tracks more towards? Are you guys more sweet or are you more salty?
Oh, I definitely would say spicy and a little bit of sweet.
Okay, sweet and spicy.
Yeah, sweet and spicy. Yeah, My husband's can I branch off?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my husband's a meat eater, and I was a vegetarian for 14 years before I met him. So we've come together, and he eats superfood smoothies, and I eat a little bit more meat now. So there is give and take. Definitely, shouldn't lower your standard of your eating. But what I'm trying to say is, it's a big deal to figure out what your family is going to eat. And so for us, making sure he gets the taste that he likes, make sure that my kids are getting the taste that they like, and for myself getting the taste that I like, that makes people feel happy. So whether it's raw or cooked, get them the taste that they're looking for. That's healthy. That's what we need.
Well, and you lead into a really good other point is there's different foods for different seasons of life. Mm-hmm. Not even just different seasons of the year because accessibility things.
Yeah.
But children need more different nutrition than mothers do. Mm-hmm. Mothers need different nutrition than husbands do. Mm-hmm. And you make a full rounded circle. So and this is going to be hard to define, in the perfect plate, what things should we be having on our plate?
Well, for sure, in my opinion, is raw vegetables or raw fruits. You definitely need to get the raw power from food when it's not cooked. And so if you're eating, fresh, that'll give your body the nutrients that it needs, it's like your daily vitamins, on your plate. And then from there, you can have your cooked legumes or your grains, your beans, your rices, or your quinoa. And then if you eat meat, then of course you can have your meat, but make sure it tastes really good. Grill it out, like you're saying, grill it out yourself, and season it with herbs that you grew. Make it have a home touch, or grill the animal yourself and butcher it. When you have this full plate of a meal sitting right in front of you, you have your memories that you get to rethink when you're eating it, and you get to share this experience with your family. And it's better than going out. It's better than you can think of for your family. It's just when you grow your own food, we try to grow your own food or make your own food the best that you can. You're creating experience. You're up leveling the whole vibrancy of your house.
Well, and it goes to show there's a recent movie out there that really promotes family eating and eating healthy. Mm-hmm. And it was really curious to me that the longevity of people's lives is really surrounded around the core of their family and eating together. There's happiness surrounded within that, and it creates these chemical reactions in your body that you want to experience that more. And with good food and homegrown food, we get to experience that more and more. Mm-hmm. With living in southern Utah, and specifically Iron County, what fruits and vegetables have you been able to grow, mm-hmm. or what ones have been more of a struggle to grow?
Mm-hmm. Sure. We definitely grow a lot of pumpkins and a lot of squashes, a lot of watermelons, and we're going to be putting in a larger potato bed next year, a sweet potato bed. I think the key is finding the right varieties. If you can't grow something, just to find the different variety, a different strain of that seed you're trying to grow. There are seeds that are specifically made, still organically, but made to grow in the high desert. And if you grow those, then you're going to have a very successful garden.
With all of the things, you're growing, 90% of your intake, or are you growing, in what percentage, I guess, mm-hmm. do you store by versus what you've grown?
Mm-hmm. Sure. That's a good question. For us, the percentage will be raising up. My goal is to get it up to above, 85%. So it's 90%. So
yeah.
But right now it's probably close to between 40 and 50%.
That's still significantly better mm-hmm. than most households across America.
Right. When you grow your own food and then you go grocery shopping, you're like, wait a second, I don't need the grocery store for all these certain things. You do for your bulk items, your grains. You can grow your own grains, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it really goes to show that what we're doing in the grocery store is a task that we should be doing at home. Mm-hmm. I'll walk down some of the aisles and be like, I don't want to spend that, I want to grow it.
Exactly.
And especially where we're in the high desert, a lot of herbs grow very well mm-hmm. here because they need the drier climate to, stem out and give different things, mm-hmm. Such as rosemary or thyme. Mm-hmm. Those things have a hard stem to them, mm-hmm. and they're more of a desert brush, sage and lavender. Those things grow really well. I have a few of them in my garden, but I'd like to expand those things. Mm-hmm. And they're not really water intensive, so you can grow things that are also water conscious. Mm-hmm. that you can be using in your own home. In any of the grocery stores that we have in this area, what's the one thing that you miss not having from the Midwest? And it doesn't have to be one specifically, but a couple of things.
That's a really good question. Yeah, I'd have to say a good raw cheese.
Raw cheese. So, and it's really curious because we do have dairies here. We just need more local dairies, I guess, to process those cheeses. But it really goes to show, not everything can be found in the grocery store, and we should be looking into ourselves, of what could I grow here? What could I grow in a pot? What could I grow? In a Home Depot bucket, you can grow potatoes. There's so many different ways to grow your own food. Where would you even just have our listeners start exploring those ideas? Who would they talk to? Would they talk to you specifically, or would they just basically look it up online? Where would you guide us?
Sure. I would guide everyone to a company called Azure Standard. And Azure Standard is a company from Oregon, and they ship across the United States. And you get to order once a month, and you get, your bulk grains and your bulk food items shipped to the city, like where you live or close to where you live. And so for what we don't grow ourselves, I'm ordering from this company because they grow things organically. So I get in cases of organic green beans. They're already chopped, they're already blanched and already frozen. Those are the vegetables I'm using to chuck into my soups. From when I don't, if I run out of a vegetable myself that I didn't, that I grew that's already been eaten. So that company is a really solid one. And then just finding local grains to eat too. I get my grain, I get my wheat from up in northern Utah / Idaho, and I also get my einkorn flour, my einkorn wheat berries from Montana. My camwood berries are grown in Montana. So there's really, once you find those golden sources, you're on it. You feel awesome.
You're on the track.
Yeah.
Awesome, Jenna. Thank you. It's really been an honor being able to interview and go through that, because what's really critical about it is that things are possible. You just need to start exploring. And with our food source becoming one of the different things going on, especially as a national security issue with the different ag pressures on ag and whatnot, knowing where to or how to grow your own food is going to become critical in the next few years.
Absolutely. Get books that you need and get yourself organized. I have countless cookbooks, but I have a binder of my favorite recipes that are in page protectors. So when I go to cook a meal, I already have the recipe written down in this binder that I have of my favorite recipes. So get yourself organized, get your kitchen, not you, but whoever's listening.
Well,
get yourself
of course.
Organized, get yourself motivated. You won't regret it. This is your house. This is your foundation.
Yes, and my kitchen could use a little bit more organization. The 3-year-old and 6-year-old have definitely rearranged them.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you again, Jenna, so much. I've appreciated our time together, and I love that I can always learn something from you every time we visited.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same with you.